incoming message.
Hello? I can't hear you, but you can hear me, right?
We interrupt to bring you this.
We've hijacked your daily dose of regurgitated news to bring you Navigating the Truth. Brace yourself, listeners, as you're about to enter a world where the narrative is no longer masqueraded as the truth. A world where the conspiracies of yesterday's translate into the truths of today.
Are you listening?
The veils covering the truth are lifting, and understandings once suppressed are finally being revealed.
Will you be ready?
And now, your host and navigator through these circles of lies, the host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Welcome to Navigating the Truth and this wonderful Sunday, December 18th, and we are well on the way to Christmas. And before I introduce my guest, my lovely guest, who's on the other side of the planet at this point, and my website is souliam.org or .net. Either one will take you there. And I'm actually just getting warmed up on the website. I've started putting up on blogs and I will continue to add to it. So check it out. But now for my wonderful guest. Her name is Athena and she was born an intuitive empath. She has continually expanded her abilities to interpret the information contained within the unified field, the field in which we all exist within. Through her consciousness, she's explored the universal field, she has accessed multidimensional timelines, and she observes the events that occur which affect our path as humans, having an earthly experience. It is through this access that she has come to know that as organic humans, we are all born with natural psychic abilities and the innate authority to create and experience life however we choose it. It is within every human being's ability to command their reality with their thoughts, intentions, and spoken words. Her purpose is to share all the information and knowledge that she has accessed and provide the truth of our human nature. You can actually reach Athena. She has a YouTube channel which is called Human Witness. And I would like to welcome you today, Athena. How are you?
Hi, very well. Thank you for inviting me, Caroline.
Oh, thank you for coming. And it's such an early morning for you.
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Middle of the night there, just turning on our other side. We were just saying that like before we opened up the show there, that it's actually wonderful. It's a wonderful use of technology that we can connect around the world like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it is. I think, if we can just see it from the perspective of that it is a tool for us to use and for it not to allow it to use us, then we can start making our experience, in this life a lot better. It's all about the attitude and, understanding that we are the ones that use things, not things use us.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right there. It's empowering, like these kind of messages that we take that power and that we direct our lives. All too often, like from my experience anyway, there is a feeling of being knocked off the path and hijacked on occasions. And I also I do resonate to what you're saying, that we make choices, we make contracts. I think for most people, they're not aware of that, so they have entered into some kind of contract that because of the mind wipe, when we come into this realm, we don't remember the things that we have agreed to. So we spend this life unboxing and cancelling things because we have not really grasped the implications of some of these things. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's exactly what happens. We spend our life trying to figure out what's going on in our everyday life without being aware of, the background, the background work that happens through our own being, and that is that we are constantly creating new contracts just from the words that we are saying. They are so powerful. And we are cancelling and creating new contracts, not knowing. So we are unaware that we are
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of these things, and often we are creating on behalf of others. That's the most common. That's how this world has been created. So in in essence, we are the ones that are in charge. We have the power, and if we can just share this information, people can start taking a different approach to their life.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think there's a lot of burnout right now. I think I don't know how it was for you there, but the experience that I had, like when we went into lockdown, was the ones that we would normally turn to, like let's say the spiritual teachers, for lack of a better word, they had nothing. They had nothing to offer. Like people were just kind of floating there in the air, like looking for answers, looking for direction, looking for where what you're saying is it's inside you. Like these answers are there. Like if you take the time to explore your inner world, your inner being, you will find it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And that's the hard part. The hard part is that we've been so used to listening outside of us that we
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to trust the inside voice. And I was, I don't want to say fortunate, because it wasn't. I don't consider anything in the sense of having to have these types of experience fortunate, but in a way it is, because I had to go through learning and connecting with that inner voice earlier on, and it was almost like a preparation for this sort of phase of humanity that we were going to walk through, because when that time came, I had already made that deep inner connection, and
Mm-hmm.
there was no outer voice sort of trying to hijack that, because that connection had already been made. And once you make it, there's no more confusion. There's no more disharmony. There is, a harmonic sort of connection, heart, mind, body. Yes, we don't have the answers. I don't have the answers for everything, but you are able to navigate your own life just by getting your own inner guidance, because it's a personal journey. It's not going to
Mm-hmm.
be the same for everybody. And our inner being, our soul, however people see it, our higher self, has been with us from the day we enter and will be with us forever. And it is trying to get our attention. It just doesn't yell at you. It's a very soft, gentle voice to begin with, and it's never going to try to interfere with your choice, your choice on this planet, until you allow it to start coming through in a more clearer way. It won't. It will just sit there, respecting your choices.
Hmm. So, would you say that it is that working on our own consciousness and awareness is like the first step?
That's correct. Absolutely. The first step is to clear all the noise from outside of you. And if you can sit there I know a lot of people meditate. So if you can sit there in a position where you're going to meditate, and you get all these voices or thoughts or patterns coming through your head, try to stop them. If you're still getting that type of thing happening, there is a mind chatter that's occurring. That's
Mm-hmm.
something to be looked at first. So yes, working on our own awareness and consciousness is definitely where our attention needs to be to get that connection going. So try and stop the mind chatter so that you can just feel the stillness and the peace that's in the heart. And a way of doing that is to connect in with sort of heart-based emotions, not the insane, crazy bliss, but the peace type kind. So,
Mm-hmm.
people can try and meditate, but if their attention is to clear the mind and to focus in on feeling the peace in their hearts, it's the quickest and easiest way to hear and feel and know that inner being within you.
Right. That's good. Yeah, that's really good. Well, like, I mean, I could go into like, what is the chatter? Like what is the everyday chatter that a person will encounter? Just even like sitting doing nothing, like there is this constant interference. That's how it feels to me. Like it's a constant kind of barrage of information that is all around us all the time. So
Yeah,
like the first step would be um go into your heart. And would you say that when you say like the emotions, like connecting in with the emotions of the heart, like you mentioned peace, like even like remembering like a joyful occasion, like
yeah,
something
absolutely.
that yeah, something that was harmonious, like a happy memory even.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So if that's, that's if you're struggling to get through and you need to bring in a real heartfelt experience, because I can understand many of us, we have such difficult life experiences that, just imagining or trying to feel into the peace that's in your heart
Mhm.
it's a difficult thing
Can
from
be a
the onset.
challenge. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
can.
right, from the
Yeah.
onset. So that'll be a way, absolutely accessing a moment in which you felt pure sort of harmony would be the best way to do it.
We have a question here for Avatar Canada, and I think we're actually covering it right now. And it said, would be so awesome if Athena could give the listeners a how to on accessing our heart space, a step by step process. I'm not experiencing success in this regard, though have had much discussion with greater self.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
think,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, basically what I've been saying here, but in essence, it will be a very personalized journey. So
Hmm.
everybody's going to go through it in a unique way because their higher self, their inner being, is going to show them the way through. And it might have to be gentle for a lot of people, like it was for me. It took a long time. It wasn't something that just happened in one go. But that piece, when it breaks through, you will never doubt it. You'll know what it is. So I'm in the process of creating a step by step guidance because I feel like some people can do it and other people can't. But either I feel like those that might not be able to might not have might not have that clarity between the inner voice.
Yeah.
So the first step would be, to clear the noise, but then start listening to the inner voice. And there are some guidance that I can provide, and a lot of that will be around setting up that communication between yourself and the inner being by asking for things and then watching them happening in the real world. So, like you're going through a dance in a way where you are, asking for something and then watch it manifest in the next 3 days and then see how that goes. And that's a way for you checking on, are you hearing the right thing? What are you hearing, sort of a thing. So I would, yeah, I don't have a step by step for everybody, but
Hmm.
I can give some guidance to guide people depending on where they are on their journey. So yeah, focus on the inner voice, try to get that going first, and then it will lead you to the heart space.
Yeah, I agree. You know, there has been times when like I have heard things in my head, and a lot of the times my response to it was prove it,
Yeah,
like and I
yeah,
went through like years and years ago just going prove it. I want
yeah,
proof,
yeah,
because I do think a lot of it was interference. It wasn't necessarily my inner being speaking to me. It
yeah,
was something else. Yeah. But
correct,
now I feel that I can access it, like but I have to work at it. I do. I
correct.
have to take the time and I have to do the work.
Yeah, yeah.
You
There's no
know,
doubt about it.
yeah, there's no shortcut. Yeah, there is. And hopefully that answered Avatar Canada. And I would recommend you go and check out Athena's website because she puts things up there that are there's a lot of question and answers. And you said you were putting together a step by step. So check out
Yeah,
our
yeah.
website. Human witness. That's the other thing. Human. Why human? Why human witness?
Oh, it's because it's a human journey, and I feel like there has been such an attempt to dehumanize us, but not now, not just now. I mean, from the moment I was born, I feel like, I've walked into a world where it's such a sin to be a human. Don't feel this, don't think that, eat this, don't eat that. Everything about us is, everything natural about us comes to us instinctually. It comes to us from inner guidance, and it's never going to be the same as anybody else. Yet, for some reason, the established structures around us that have apparently been around for longer than, just say, my life, right, are telling you something completely different. So it was like I clued onto it pretty quickly that, you know, there's something going on where it's
There's a
keeping us
stigma.
yeah, there's something deliberately being spread around to tell us that there's something wrong with being human, like it's sinful. So it was, no, I'm stepping into my humanity. I'm not stepping out of it. I'm going to
Yeah.
anchor it in now.
Yeah. Well, I gotta be honest with you. I have never felt human. Like, I don't really know what that means. And like, I have always felt on the outside looking in. The all of my life has felt that way. I've kind of felt that this is not my home, kind of thing, like kind of find myself like, yeah, even the question, like you talk about in some of your videos about 12 realms and the ancestral beings. Could you talk a wee bit more about that?
Yeah, so I have seen the structure of this universe, and it has been shown that it is 12 realms, and that it was essentially it's a So it's another construct. So every universe is created by a being, I guess. It can be multiple beings. This particular one is my focus at the moment. So I only focus in on this universe, which we call the universe of light. That's what it's called within the knowing of the records. So it's the universe of light. That's what we call it. That's how we experience it. And we are light beings. We're all light beings. It's not a particular class of people,
Right.
because that's how essence, our infinite essence, expresses itself within this universe through light. So yeah, there are ancient beings that were part of this creation, this construct. But then, it opened up to everybody, and I tried to explain that everybody is just as important as the ancients. There is no one that's more important than another, even as equal as the creator, being the universal being, what people call the creator anyway. But I have seen this being to be just as powerful as myself, as yourself. So it's not a superiority. There's nothing like that going on, and that's why I'm sharing this information, because people are acting like they're not powerful when in fact they are.
They are. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. 100%. Yeah, people are so powerful. And I think that's also part of like this construct, this realm. There's a lot of dumbing down.
Yeah.
You mentioned like that you had picked up on the how there was some sort of shaming attached to being human. Like that is part of the whole dumbing down as well. Like the idea that we can't have the lives that we deserve, like where does that idea come from?
Yeah, exactly. So I say that your entire experience from the moment you're born is to bring you to the point of vulnerability, so that you can start to go within, so that you can find your power back again. So depending on how tough your life is, the bigger the challenge. And there are some really difficult experiences. I understand that. Horrendous, like that's what we see. We see horrendous sort of experiences. But every single being that is going through that is just as powerful as the ones that are having the joyful life. So personal journey, because there was personal requirements. Like everybody's joined this construct for a reason. And I can't tell you what your reason is. You're going to have to find that out yourself. I can just try to unpack my reasons. So
Right.
yeah, they're very powerful. We're all very powerful. We just forgot about it. And it's time to remember.
It is time to remember. And I think it's important that we do remember, like, because right now we just seem to be on a time loop that is constantly going round and round and round. And I wanted to talk to you. You had mentioned something on your latest video about some sort of, what was it you called it? A conversions. You had said that there had been a conversion. So, like, I would like to talk in more depth about that. But yeah, I think your message is a good one. It's a very positive one. And I mean, even if it's like a small percentage or a large percentage of people that get something from what you're saying, if it leaves them empowered, that's a good service. You know, that's a really important service to be providing for people, because we are in such a confused state. And I think it's worldwide. It's not just isolated to certain areas. It is all over the world. And everybody just about everybody that I speak to, they just want to leave. You know, they've had enough already. You know, it's like time to get out of here. And I think I heard you saying, no, it's going to be another 2 years before we get out of here. And I thought, no, no.
Yeah, it's going to be different for everybody, certainly, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not talking about dying and checking out either, you know, like that has never been my thing. You know, I've always had this idea that I will walk my family out of here. You know, that's the way that I see it unfolding for me anyway. I will physically walk out of here. So I will. But yeah, and maybe you can shed some light on the beings, like the ancients. You refer to them as the ancients. Like, who are they? Who are the ancients?
The creators, essentially they are the creators of this universal construct. They're just like you and I. They're not, anything different. They're just infinite soul essence that are living out, building out, experiencing this universal construct to the desires of, or the vision, I guess, of the universal being. So I really try to reiterate, it's not about who they are, it's about who we are. They're just here now to correct some structural problems, if we can call it, within the construct, because it's gone too far. And that's their responsibility. Yeah. And we all have a responsibility of sorts. We just don't know what our role is. That's all. Some people just exist, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I tried to say that too, to explain that it's just as important, because everybody's contributing to this universe. But there are many people who are listening to these types of channels, and there's a reason, and that is, start off with going inside so that you can hear your inner voice and you can find exactly what you're being asked to do.
Yeah, and it looks like, can you believe it? We're coming up on our first break, and but I want to get into more depth. But I understand what you're saying, that you refer to them as the ancients, but it doesn't mean that they're more powerful than us. They created this realm, so it's a role that they have to fixing it, I guess.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, so we will continue that when we come back, Athena. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
You're listening to Navigating the Truth with Caroline Bell Templeton.
Vegas, baby! Vegas' #1 source for talk and new music.
How cool is that?
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Navigating the Truth, the one show that peels back the masks of the elite and exposes the truth we're not being told.
Here to warn you. You must not abuse the power you've been given. Eventually, you will lose control of that power and the whole world will suffer.
Come partake in the awakening by calling the show at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
Give us a call now.
Those around the world, connect with us on Skype at KCOR Radio. Follow us on Twitter at KCOR Radio or use hashtag KCOR. Come engage in the discussion live in our chat room at www.kcorradio.com.
Our survival depends upon it.
Now, back to examining the narratives and uncovering the truth with your host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Templeton.
Caroline Bell Templeton.
Hi, and welcome back to Navigating the Truth. And I have a wonderful guest here today. I have Athena. Hi, Athena.
Hi.
And it looks like we're getting quite a few questions here. Avatar Canada asks, is this light universe filled with a multitude of other beings?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Many of us. So, billions, I guess. So it's open. It's open. It's an open playground. It's not a closed sort of playground. And beings from all over the multiverse, from all over the infinite space, the infinite beyond, have come to take part in this experience. So yeah, it's definitely filled with
Oh,
lots of
definitely.
beings.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that. Yep. And Avatar Canada has another question. Is the light universe really millions of light years across or in diameter? Wow.
Uh, yeah. Okay. So I'd say so. It's both. I guess both translated or interpreted in light years. And yes, and in physical space. So it's I guess I say that we need a multidimensional hat on when we
Mm-hmm.
are
Mm-hmm.
trying to understand these concepts because, like you said, we have been in a way dumbed down. Even the terminology, even the language we use
Mm-hmm.
is so different to what we are in our infinite expression. So we struggle to find the words to explain it, but it's both a time-based and a distance-based experience that we're having. And that's part of the part where I say, well, they've tried to really influence our thinking process and our understanding because it's almost like time doesn't matter. Time does matter.
Yeah.
It has a purpose. You need to understand what that is for you because time absolutely matters, and so does distance. So it's both. It's not just yeah. So it's definitely light-based distances. But to that, I just want to say that don't be dissuaded by how big the universe is because you can get anywhere within it in a flash through your
Mm-hmm.
consciousness. Through
Yeah.
your consciousness, it's all accessible. It's and all of it is in an instant. It's not, we need to build these spaceships to take us through light years of travel. That's just all to diminish us and to keep us limited and
Right.
small.
Right. I agree. And I hope that answered your questions, Avatar Canada. We have another question here from Space Monk. And it says, I have a question for Athena. Do you know anything about the animals walking in circles? Fish, sheep, reindeers?
I haven't gone into that, but I would just say, and I want to bring this back again to the humans as well, is that what we're going through is realignment because we are going towards a balanced state, and it doesn't just happen overnight. So we are at the same time that we are readjusting our energy body, our physical body as well. So heart,
Mm-hmm.
mind, and body is being readjusted. It's all happening at the tune of the planet, so the Earth. And I know some people don't perceive it as a planet, but I can only explain what I see. So
Right.
the planet itself, other people, we know that it's got a magnetic field. This is what I call the unified field, or what others call the unified field, but that's what I call the field itself, just the field. So
Mm-hmm.
that's part of it. Us, the magnetic field, the field itself, that's all changing now. It's all basically realigning to the balanced state. And it won't happen instantaneously. It's happening in waves. It's happening in over months, and then it gives us a pause, and then it happens again. So that's what they're potentially realigning to. Potentially, the magnetics are affecting them, or
Mm-hmm.
their inner alignment process is taking place. And yeah, that could be happening. Like I said, I haven't really gone into explore that simply
Yeah.
because on a human level, it's quite a challenging experience to be having right now anyway, our rebalancing,
Mm-hmm.
our readjustment. It's a day-by-day process. And yeah, like I said, we need to go inside to really find out what's going on with us before we really start looking at what's going on
Yeah.
outside of us. And that's
Yeah.
my challenge too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, I had seen a couple of things circulating as far as the animals walking in circles and reindeer, and like there was a lot of different theories as to why it was happening. But it to me, it's just another indication of the imbalance, you know, and maybe something moving in a direction to try and balance things. Like that's my optimism there. And yeah, and before we went into the break, we were talking about the ancestors, and you were explaining like see, I think the whole idea like hierarchies, elites, it all is in this realm.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't believe
correct.
it exists in another realm other than
Yeah,
the one that we find ourselves in.
yeah, that's right.
Right? So it would mean absolutely nothing the minute that we step out of this
Yeah,
realm. It's the same way money systems, like the way that we exchange energy here, it will have no meaning in another realm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It won't have a meaning in this realm soon too. So, but
good.
that
Mm-hmm.
that's not to say next year, but that's as we find our power and we
Mm-hmm.
step into our authority, we start to see the world for what it really is. And because we are in our power and in our authority, these illusionary type of tactics, they stop. They just lose power because we're
Mm-hmm.
not powering them. And then we
Right.
really start to see what and who we are. And yeah, the energy, we are energy producing beings. We create energy,
Mm-hmm.
so that is why when we realize what's happening, we will see that we take away and dissolve the entire power structure that exists within this realm because we are the power. Our
Mm-hmm.
inner being is that infinite source of power. So once we can get into that state of mind, and that's coming. It's just not going to be
Mm-hmm.
relatively soon, but it's coming, and it's part of the process of this duality ending, and that is our full balance state, which is going to be in our power, and thus not needing anything outside of ourselves. That includes energy. That includes
Mm-hmm.
food. It's because we are infinite essence and we power ourselves from that infinite essence. This entire experience has been to enable us to see that we are this powerful from a position of being totally dispowered. So
Mm.
it's quite the journey it is, and we're doing it together.
We're
So
doing it
we'll
together,
come,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, we'll
And it
come to the
seems,
realizations together.
yeah, and it seems to be happening in waves, like a ripple. You
Yes,
know, like that's how I kind of interpret it is it's like a ripple effect because
yeah,
I want to snap my fingers and everybody wake up at the same time, but that's not
that's not
that's
how
me
it
in
works.
Fantasyland. Yeah, yeah. But we
Yeah.
have another question. Avatar Canada, it says, will Athena share some of the characteristics of the 12 realms, or is this something to be looked at when one obtains access to the records?
Yeah, no, I will. I guess I go with my inner guidance before I do a video, I sort of check in to see what do I need to speak about.
Hmm.
And that's where I get sort of guided as to what to create. I have spoken of some of them, but I understand that, yeah, there are the outer realms that I haven't spoken about in detail. And I'm sure that it's coming very soon. So I will speak about it. It's just not right now.
Okay. All right. And would you like for some reason whenever I have heard you mention like the ancestors, Hyperboreans come into my mind. Like for some reason I get excited when I think about the Hyperboreans. Is this the same beings?
So all I can say about the ancient beings is that they haven't been spoken of yet. You know,
Okay.
yeah, like in the sense of that, who everything is there's a there's a big story of narratives that's going on in
Mm-hmm.
this realm, and that's part of this whole, to keep us distracted, keep us listening to
Mm-hmm.
information outside of us, and um, also not only that, but this hierarchical system that we've got going on, and how we worship beings, as if they're more powerful than us. That feeds into the whole thing, and that is the hijacked narrative. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
one storyline. That's why I call it the one timeline, because there's a one storyline. The one storyline is the ancients creating this universe and everyone else partaking in it and having a journey along the lines of the universal being's journey. So we follow, we sort of have the same type of experience, just in our own unique way. So that's the one story. And what's happened is it's been distorted in so many ways. That's why there are all these narratives about different beings. That is not to diminish any of the beings that are having these journeys, Hyperboreans, everybody. Just as relevant, just as important. And that's not to say that they are the ones that are, or any other being is saying that their story is more important than anyone else's. It's often other beings. Yeah, it's often other beings that are propping them up and trying to make them into something else other than what they are. So, yeah, the information will start coming out about it. Absolutely access the records. That's where everything is.
Yeah, you had even described like, and I think I've been there, like where it's like a circular room with the white marble and the gold. Many moons ago, I remember having it would be a vision that I had. Yeah, but I wanted to talk to you about you had mentioned this conversions. And you had put a couple of dates. I think you had said like December 4th to the 9th, that it was a forced conversion. And I wanted to I want to say it was right at the beginning of December. I was sitting here in my living room, and I think it was maybe the 3rd, maybe the 4th of December. And I was getting ready for bed, so I had got up and I was blowing out my candles. And I have a little candle that sits at the window, so I walked over to the window, and just as I was about to blow out the candle, I had the thought, lights out. And then I blew out the candle, and I looked at the street, and everything went dark. All the street lights went out one at a time, right down the street. And then it was the houses the lights started to go out. And it wasn't like all at once, like it was like rolling through. And here in my apartment, it was almost like a dimmer switch was being turned. The lights didn't go off like straight away. They just dimmed. Everything dimmed. Like, yeah, that's the best way I can describe it, as if a dimmer switch was being turned. And then it went dark. And it went dark for about 2 hours. There was no internet, no Wi-Fi, no cars, no planes. It was just, that's what happened. And I sat here and I was like, oh, what's going on? And I was
you turned the lights off.
Well, I had the thought, like, lights out. Yeah, I had that thought. But I sat, that again brings into the whole idea that we are multidimensional, and that this is only one aspect, and that we have all these other aspects, because I really had the strong sense that there was stuff going on, like that there was beings that were busy, they were at work, and they were doing things. And even although I wasn't consciously aware of what exactly they were doing, I knew they were doing stuff. I knew that there was stuff going on. So I wanted to share that with you. That awesome. Lights out.
You literally put the lights out.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why I want to say that, because part of this journey of us understanding our inner voice is because we have a job to do, and often people want it to be something very big and grand. But I try to explain, even the words you say when you are guided to say them are big and grand. They affect the entire realm. So, in this instance, you might have put those lights out, and that's maybe a potential path that's trying to indicate to you, how powerful you are. I'm not saying saying what it is. Yeah, that's for you to explore, but that's how it happens. That's how it starts. For those who really want to know, how do you get in touch with your inner being and your intuition and start listening to that voice? This is how it happens. You get things like this occurring where it's getting to the point where it can't be a coincidence anymore, and you really ground in your power, and then it opens up to see everything. So these convergent states, they are forced. There are beings doing things. There are parts of us as multidimensional aspects that are taking part in those things. So we can see that when we can choose to, and we build on that connection, if that's what we want to do. Now, we don't all have to do that because it is a focus of your time. So other people just want to go and live their lives, and that's fine too. So these convergent states, they are important, and we would have felt them before. So we would feel them starting to ramp up. You know, the chatter has started. There's something going on in the field, in the realm, and the movement starts. So I generally sense them days before. I had an inkling from the 27th. So I sort of let it simmer, and then as we got into December, I knew more information, and then obviously while we're in it, I knew more information, and then that's why I let it sort of simmer. And I said to people that I need to process what's happening, because it's very dense information, and we're trying to interpret it from our human, faculties, while we are trying to expand at the same time. So processing this information that's out there, it can be overwhelming. So I've got to take the time sometimes to sort of interpret it and see what's going on, because we are all changing at the same time. This is happening.
Oh, it's a process for sure. There's so many things I'm still processing. I still don't have I ask for clarity, and I get clearer and through time, through and I'll sit with something, but as you say, it can be really overwhelming because the information is it's different. It's different for the way that we think and process things. It's multifaceted, it's that, and I don't even really have the language. There are other beings here that have better language to describe these things, and I'm just trying my very best to find that, to find the words that I want to use, and for a time I might use others' words because I haven't really come up with a word myself.
Yeah. We step into we step into our authentic sort of expression, and sometimes we just have to start by fake it until you make it type of thing, and that's fine. The information that comes through us is definitely overwhelming, and we just have to be gentle with ourselves to process that, and then just allow ourselves to express ourselves in the way we are comfortable. Now, you might think that you need better words, but your expression is perfect for you. So it doesn't, that's sort of an expectation we place on ourselves. It's part of the limiting sort of experience that we want to have, and that is to think that, I'm not using the words better, like this person is using more ways to express themselves, because I have those thoughts too, and it's like, well, you know what, these are the words that have come out of my mouth, and that's that. It appeals to a different because but there's a purpose to it, right? So you're meant to reach a certain group of people. That other person is meant to reach a different group of people, and that's what it is. It's just understanding that we are connecting to a variety of people, and in a manner in which is authentic to ourselves and to them. So that'll not be an issue at all. It's just the language will roll off our tongues as we process more, but for the time being, exactly how you express yourself is exactly how it's meant to be.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that's useful. We have another question. Debbie D says, Athena, you talk about the universe being human-centric. Is this accurate? What are the extraterrestrials in relation to us, aspects of us? Question.
Yeah, the human experience is the absolute center point of this experience, and that is because that is the expression, at the ultimate expression of the universal being. That's what the being wanted to experience, and that's what the being is experiencing it. And through that, we experience it as well. That's what we've come for, this human experience. Yes, everything else is an aspect of a human timeline that has gone down the path of exploring that mind consciousness, that dabbling with technology, that disconnecting from the heart. So over time, and that's why the previous question about the time, how this universe is sort of experienced, in time-based a time-based state, and that is because there are timelines that seem to be eons in which there is this evolution or evolution, however you want to see it, into different species, but it's all evolved around the human being.
Yeah, that's, and like the human being, like it's a biological suit that we are wearing.
Yeah, just like
Yeah,
the extraterrestrials, it's the same
yeah.
thing. You project yourself into this.
So even the whole idea of being born, like we have this elaborate situation that is set up with the 9 months of pregnancy and then the labor, a baby being born. But if we could just shift our awareness and see that being is actually just stepping in,
Yeah,
it's
correct.
just it's just stepping in to this. So why such an elaborate process? Like why, like with the 9 months of birth? Maybe I think
Yeah,
it,
that's a distortion. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
distortion. So I haven't gotten to this yet, and because usually when I get a topic, I need time to collect the information
Hmm.
from the records or however people sort of perceive it. So from the unified field, and that is to speak about this journey within the realm one and how it started and how it's going to end. And that is, we didn't start like this. Yeah, you were
Yeah.
a projection of matter that you chose. You created your physical being and you projected into this realm because you are one powerful and you can do that. And then through that evolutionary process, which has gone on for millions and billions of years, we have dabbled into this experimentation and altering of our physical vessel and the process of it. And within that, we disempowered ourselves and allowed other beings to experiment on us.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's
That's a
why,
good description. Yeah.
it's definitely not natural the way we give birth.
Yeah.
That's not the natural process. It might seem natural to us now because we've been doing it for millions of years, but that's not the initial.
Well, we've been
it's-
conditioned. We've been conditioned to accept that this is what is happening. Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. It is totally a distortion. It doesn't necessarily need to be that way at all. Yeah, we have another question, but I think I might leave that question to when we come back because we're coming up on a break in a couple of minutes here, and it looks like quite a question. So we'll wait for we'll wait for when we come back. And I must admit, this is actually wonderful, Athena. It's really lovely to have you, and I'm so happy that you go up this early. Thank you, and we will be right back after this break.
You've been listening to Navigating the Truth, a show that will inspire you to transform the world around you, including your health. For more information on the show, Navigating the Truth, and the host, Caroline Bell Tumblety, as well as services she offers, please visit her website at souliam.org. That's SOULIAM.org.
It's as simple as that.
Navigating the Truth live every Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
Incoming message.
Hello? I can't hear you, but you can hear me, right?
We interrupt to bring you this.
We've hijacked your daily dose of regurgitated news to bring you Navigating the Truth. Brace yourself, listeners, as you're about to enter a world where the narrative is no longer masqueraded as the truth. A world where the conspiracies of yesterday's translate into the truths of today.
Are you listening?
The veils covering the truth are lifting, and understandings once suppressed are finally being revealed.
Will you be ready?
And now, your host and navigator through these circles of lies, the host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hi, welcome back to Navigating the Truth on this lovely Sunday. And we have an awesome guest here. We have Athena. And tell them how they can reach you, Athena. Your YouTube channel, the name of your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so I'm only on YouTube. It's called Human Witness. I have my email there as well. It's realhumanwitness@gmail. At the moment, I'm just sharing information on that on the YouTube channel.
Yeah. And I would recommend go, you have quite a few videos there, and they're not really long. Like some of them are like 15, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about people's attention spans, yeah, and there's a lot of information, good, useful information, I believe. And while we were on break, we had this question before we went on break, and I was going to read it when we came back. It's from Avatar Canada, and it says, there is so much cool about being in this realm. Feeling triumph, overcoming struggle, relationships with the other sex. What was that? Feeling speed. Don't know what some part wonders if we are giving up something really important to return to our fifth density self. Can Athena comment?
Yeah. So, and that's what the beauty of this place is, that some of us do have that perspective, and that is that, this is quite the experience, and it's a really good perspective to have when you are in this place, because it will change how you feel about things, how you experience life in general.
Definitely.
Yeah, and because it is a journey that you are having, realizing that there is such wealth, just in the experience itself. And you're here to do that. You're here to have that experience, really grounding into your physical body, accepting it, and then living as you are guided just by yourself, right? Just guided from your inner self to experience it, because there is a bigger inner understanding. So that inner understanding is telling you, hang on, like I'm actually doing something here, and when I leave, this is gone. So yeah, in the sense of missing out when you leave, well, everything comes to an end, including these journeys. So there is a purpose for it, and that is to, one, create this universe with our experience within it, to then feel it with our experience within it. But then also, on the other part of the equation is what you get out of it, and that is at that infinite essence level. You just got to remember that we're all infinite, and we are looking. Just imagine being infinite and having done almost everything, or you've done everything. So when the opportunity comes to have a completely different experience, you'd be chomping at the bit to get to it. So I know it's a hard perspective to have when you're in here entrenched in the rubbish that we have to deal with, but from that elevated, expanded perspective, we do see that, yes, this is an experience that many beings have come here just to watch us have it. This is how big it is. It's that big that there are beings all over this universal sort of construct that are sitting and watching us have it, watching us just do it. So we don't miss out when we leave, because you're taking all the experience with you. You're taking all the growth of the expansion, not only that you've experienced, but from this entire universal experience, everybody's growth. So that's the exchange. The exchange is that you provide your experience through the filtering, that feedback loop, right? So we're giving everything we experience individually, we feed that back into the universal field. It gets collected and analyzed by the ancients and their realms and whatever they do. And then that contributes to the expansion of the universe, right, which is also the universal being. And that includes you. So when you leave your infinite essence, you take it and you go, you're taking with you this growth of experience. So you're expanding through this. So you're not going to miss out. No, you're going to be expanded in a way that you weren't before.
Yeah. So they're not giving up something really important to return to.
No, they're not.
No. I agree. I don't see, the duality is where we find ourselves. Like the light, the dark, the good, the bad. Like however we want to term it. Like this realm is fully duality, and the singularity, like that's what I have experienced, is there is no duality.
Correct.
Once you're out of this particular construct, it's a singularity. It's merely a singularity. It's merely like And even like when I would reflect on some of the things that were going on here, I would just be, oh yeah, that I would know exactly why, It was like there
Yeah.
would be like this deeper understanding as to why things were occurring.
Yeah.
Uh, we have another question. Space Monk is asking, is there any advice for us in regards to January 4th?
No, so I would just say when these because January 4th I've sort of put out there in my last video as it's part of this convergence period, and what is generally happening in these events is we within our earthly sort of aspect are here living out our expression of our infinite essence, and part of this shifting that is occurring, because that's what we go through, we're going through shifting on an individual level, and that contributes to the collective shift. All we have to do is be in our authentic expression, be respectful of our body, listen to it because it is communicating to us all the time. If you need to rest, just rest. If you need to, do something else, nourish it in a certain way. If you're being called to go to a particular place, it doesn't always have to be nature. I know we consider nature to be, the woods, the bush, the beach, the mountains. It doesn't have to be nature because we are grounding in our essence, which is powering up at the moment. So we in a way we had sort of powered down, right? And now we are powering up, and it's happening in increments. It's not happening in one. We're not going from 0 to 1,000. We're going from 0 to 100, then to 110, then maybe to 200. So that's what's happening now. So with January the 4th, it's not a particular day. It's up until that particular day. So we're sort of powering up in a way and grounding it in. So all I would say is always honor your inner guidance, and that will be telling you where to go, who to be around, what to eat, and what to do, because the intelligence that's within you can't be beaten by anything else, not even what I say.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like that, that the intelligence within you cannot it cannot be like influenced. But
That's right.
I would have to like add that you need to get to that inner being, because there is a lot of systems that have been put in place here that have tried to, like, this is just my opinion, that have tried to kind of throw us off our path. Like, and maybe other people will interpret that differently, that maybe they needed to get knocked off the path and go a different route, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, being respectful of an individual's journey is probably one of the things that to really what would I say, to encourage that in ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
100%, absolutely agree. I think that's that's one of my biggest messages is we can judge, we can criticize, because we're in a particular expression of our lives where we have to walk a certain timeline, and then casting stones at others, not realizing that we might have played a similar role in another timeline. So the sovereign path is the path we each must follow, and part of that is requiring you to sort of figure that out yourself, that it doesn't matter what anyone says, I'm going to do what's right for me. Now, I'm not saying that means that we go and hurt people and we do hurtful things. That is not what I'm saying. So I hope we can sort of understand what I'm trying to explain here, because honestly, when you do what's in your heart, it's never going to be to hurt somebody. It might be perceived by someone that you might be hurting them, but it's not coming from a place of that hurtfulness. So inner intelligence is important, because I can tell you, even though we might not have that clarity of hearing our inner voice, it's always there. So generally your first nudge towards what to eat, where to go, is the correct one. That might not be always the case, because like you've said, there has been that influence to try and throw us off big time. But what I have stepped up to say is that there is no greater time than now, where your connectedness, we're hearing that intelligence has been this strong, and it's only going to get stronger. because of
That's
all the
good.
work that has been done. Yeah, because of all the work that's been done up until this point, and we're increasing our ability to expand through our infinite essence sort of expanding within us, so it gets easier to see through illusion and navigate this reality, because your inner clues, and I don't have to be the one to say this, I can almost guarantee that people are starting to recognize themselves sort of picking up when something is off, easier than ever before. So that is already showing you that you already have it within you. It just needs a little bit more effort to sort of hone in on.
Yeah, and people second guess themselves. At least I know that I have. But it's reestablishing that trust with yourself that you can know. You can know. Like I have always said that you can know when somebody is lying.
Absolutely.
Like I've always kind of, well, I wouldn't say always, because I have kind of misled myself at times, but for the most part, I would say in the last 2 years, I've got really good at recognizing the truth.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And that's going to increase more. And that's because that's where we're going in our sort of balanced state, that singularity that you've spoken of as well. We're going to experience that here within our experience. And that's the whole point of this. And that the biggest effect of that is seeing through illusion. They just will not hold anymore. People won't stop lying until we step into our full power of seeing through lies and illusion. And that's when lies and illusion lose their power. They dissolve. They don't happen anymore because we can see through it clearly.
I got to ask you, what is your feeling about like entities, like the paranormal? Like, have you looked at that in any way?
Yeah, so I don't really dabble into too much of like the narrative, but entities are beings just like we are. So there's consciousness floating around everywhere. What I try to explain is that we live in a multidimensional universe. So there are beings, entities that can cross through dimensions. We've just limited ourselves to everything we can do or remember, at least, because there are aspects of you that do the same thing. So 100%, there are entities, there are beings, but nothing can override your sovereign, your sovereignty, basically. So that's where the do not consent, that's where the use your voice and your words to command your reality. And, my path really, really kicked into gear when I started saying that I don't consent. And that was something that was being said by many beings 10, 15, 20 years ago. So it's not something new. I don't think anything about the stuff that I speak of is anything new. It's just probably being presented in a manner together to make to make an impact in your life. And if you play with it, you will see. I don't consent, and start using the words that you want to sort of create your reality, and you'll see if you're experiencing anything with entities and you don't want them, you can tell them to go away and to never come back again. But if you want them to be there, understand that you're engaging with something and, navigate it the way you feel you can navigate it. But I think becoming aware of these things is good. Also recognizing that we might have given our power over to other entities. So, the only thing I would say is don't fear anything. Come into your power. And if you want to start from a clean state, that clean sort of slate, pull back your consent. And then, because I'm not against people engaging with entities, like obviously do whatever you like on your path. And then it shouldn't be frowned upon. Do whatever you like. Engage with whatever beings you want. I engage with beings all the time. But on what type of what's the balance of power there, like what's the state of that engagement? Are you coming from a position of fear? Are you coming from a position of they're more than you? Are they gonna do they have more power than you? That's the thing. So how are you engaging with beings? Ensure that you understand who you are, where you stand, and what they are, and don't give away your power, because that can be a path that a lot of us want to take. But at this point in time, like, step into your power and experience life through that, because we've lived disempowered. It's now time to live empowered.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. No, I don't want any party entities. Yeah, I just wondered what your take was on it.
Yeah, they exist. Oh, yeah, there's entities crossing into our
exist.
dimension all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's part of it. We just can't see them. because
know.
we're experiencing life through a limited sort of perspective, but that's expanding and we will start seeing.
Yeah.
Is there.
I think there's a lot of trickery involved with that
Correct.
kind of aspect, Well, that has been my experience, there's a lot of trickery. You think it's one thing and it's really not.
Yep. Yeah.
And like I can also say that up until about maybe I think about 10 years ago, that was when I started realizing that I'd probably made some contracts unwittingly. And I started I started the work and everything. And I thought I had been doing my spiritual work prior to that, like for years and years. I thought, but it was a situation that had happened in my life that made me disbelieve everything up until that point. Like I stopped believing things, and maybe that was a good thing because belief was also something that I had to look at.
Yeah.
What was it I was placing this belief in, so it was a sad event that I wouldn't be here though without that event.
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know
Everything is a stepping stone in our lives. Absolutely. There's no wrong turn. You haven't taken any wrong turns. I know we might see it like that at some point, but when we get to a certain other point, we can then look back and say, yeah, that happened because I had to go through that to be where I am right now. As unfortunate as it may be, it does require an expansion of perspective, but that comes at some stage for all of us.
And you're still doing your work, I'm not really sure like what your background was, like what led you like to the path that you're on now, but I'm pretty sure that there was some kind of steps,
Yeah.
that kind of led you there. We
Yeah.
got another question here. Space Monk, Athena, could you say that all has speeded up? The progress seems to move forward fast, leaps sometimes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are in an accelerated phase of our progress right now, and that's because it's coming to, I guess, an end in a way. This duality sort of experience. So yes, we are in a really condensed express train ride of experience, and I explain it by saying that we have timelines that we need to that we've agreed to sort of live out, and that is to achieve our soul objectives. So depending on the timeline that we're on, we're experiencing certain events, we're having different encounters with different people in our lives, and that is because our soul wants us to experience certain things so that we can come to certain realizations and have these soul objectives. Now, in the past, this might have gone on for one entire lifetime, so 70 years or so. You were having one of these timelines and experiencing just that. Now, what's happened is because we're in this enhanced phase of closing out this duality, we are closing out timelines like really fast. It can be 6 months, it can be 3 months. It depends on what you have to achieve. And what's happening is with these convergence states, if you haven't achieved those objectives, you're forced into those realizations quick, fast. So it might happen in a week or two. You just sit on the couch and you're like, oh, that's what all that meant. And you've just unpacked, 3 years of your life in that one moment.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening right now. Yeah, we are in a really sped up fast lane into speeding through certain timelines to reach certain soul objectives. Because it's through our awakened state we get to this end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there's such an imbalance has been created. I would think that what you're describing, like things have to kind of finish it. Like there has to be like this kind of finishing it. That's how the dreams have felt to me.
Yeah.
As if they don't make any sense anymore. Like my dream, they just don't make any sense anymore. It's like this endless loop of stuff that has already happened.
Yeah. Tying up loose ends is what I call it for now. we're just sort of tying up loose ends, and because we're getting ready for a bit of a phase in which we're going to experience it. So this convergence state, when I say we're on a different timeline, it's just like we're going to experience what's coming in this next period from a different awareness perspective, because we've achieved these soul objectives. So we are absolutely going to experience life just from a different viewpoint, because we've realized certain things along the way, which is going to be interesting and potentially, I dare I say, fun for some people. Yeah, because like you've done so much work, and now it's time to start seeing that expansion of your own awareness affect your external world too.
Yeah, I like that. I think we could all use a bit of fun.
Yeah.
For sure. So will it be, everybody will be experiencing this differently,
Yeah,
some,
that's right.
yeah, it's not going to be the same for everybody because we are all different. So,
Absolutely.
but I really like, feel my heart, like harmony be felt, like some kind of harmony and the struggles, like, that people are still facing, that they be alleviated somehow, that a shift takes place and also accountability. I want accountability for some of this, maybe that's me wanting, like I'm putting down my rules, wanting people to behave a certain way,
Yeah.
But
I think we'll see some accountability. I believe that too.
Yeah, well, I think we have to. I don't think, I think that will help people, I think that will help people see things clearer. If accountability is something that is, like we talked about forcing a convergence. Let's force accountability.
Yeah, it's part of it. Yeah.
It looks like we're coming up on another break, Athena, and we will be right back.
You're listening to Navigating the Truth with Caroline Bell Tumblety, where the truth survives and the lies are exposed.
This is K-Core Radio, coming to you live from Las Vegas.
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Navigating the Truth, the one show that peels back the masks of the elite and exposes the truth we're not being told.
Here to warn you. You must not abuse the power you've been given. Eventually, you will lose control of that power and the whole world will suffer.
Come partake in the awakening by calling the show at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
Give us a call now.
Those around the world, connect with us on Skype at KCOR Radio. Follow us on Twitter at KCOR Radio or use hashtag KCOR. Come engage in the discussion live in our chat room at www.kcorradio.com.
Our survival depends upon it.
Now, back to examining the narratives and uncovering the truth with your host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hi, welcome back to Navigating the Truth on this wonderful Sunday, and I have the lovely guest, Athena, and we're just having a chat here, and it's actually quite lovely. And we were chatting during the break there, weren't we, Athena? And we were talking about, what were we talking about? Like shifting our perceptions.
Yeah.
What, remembering maybe to appreciate, even like we have this contradictory narrative that is going on the outside that is vying for our attention. And just to remind ourselves to appreciate, appreciate like what we have, like, well, as far as like family, the things that bring us joy, I had said that I walk by the shore here and I love the water. I absolutely love the water. I love birds. I have this thing with birds, but I also recognize that it has been dimmed on some level. That it isn't vibrating at the frequency that I remember it vibrating at. It's
Yeah,
almost like, yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
Does that make any sense?
It does, it does. And I see colours changing now. So I know we've been dimmed down and dumbed down, I guess, in different ways to experience it and express it. But if we start paying attention to our outside environment, we will see the real changes that are taking place, in live action. And that is the birds are different, they're singing different. The entire sort of weather experience is changing. There's a lot that's occurring, and I know we have this sort of perception that everything is manipulated, but it's not, because beneath it is the real expression of the planetary being, and we can see it, we can connect with it. We always do. It's just getting through there. But once you sort of step into your heart space and you have that frequency, connection, and you recognize it, you don't really step out of it that easily. So, you do experience nature in a different way. You do see more vivid colors. But in general, for everybody, that's coming. That comes through our powering up. That comes through our expansion within. And, during the break, we were talking about being present. And how important it is, because life takes you places, and while you're present, you can sort of see what's happening. When you're not present, it's very hard to understand what's going on in your life. So connecting in with people that are maybe like-minded, or along your sort of where you feel comfortable, where you feel where you feel in those feelings of the heart. That's the best way to be grounded in this experience. And I recognize that not everybody has that, but even if you don't have it, you can do things to step towards it. And similar to these sort of online communities, speaking to someone online, we're talking through Skype here, we're talking about on 3 different locations on Earth. I'm in Melbourne, you're in Scotland, and the show is hosted in Las Vegas. So we can connect as long as we take responsibility and say we want to change our lives, we want to have better relationships. We can find people, we can find groups that are like-minded if that's what we want, and they're willing to connect. People are always looking to have that human connection. So, we can absolutely make a difference and see a different reality in the real world, because it exists underneath the illusionary world.
So, like, underneath the illusionary world, do you think the illusionary world is like an overlay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they've been dissolved. So we're starting now to activate those abilities within us that we can see. We can see through the illusion. We can see the real world, and the people in your life are the realest thing in this world. The people in your life, they are the realest thing in this world. So, the animals, the realest thing. So, it's always been there. We just have to connect with it in a different way than what we did before.
Yeah. Connecting. That's it. No more disconnecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, disconnect for the programs and the overlays that you don't want, but connect to the things that you want more of. And there is a lot of really good people here. There really are.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of really kind and loving people.
Yep.
Yeah, I come across at least one a day,
Yeah. Yep, I agree. And that's part of our soul path. I know a lot of people are having, difficult experiences. I mean, I've probably said that about 5 times in this show, but
because it's true. Yeah,
it's true. I've had them too. Yeah, there's been a period in my life, many periods in my life. I consider most of my life where interactions were not pleasant. But that's when you can actually see that that's what's happening, that you can change that. You can look for respectful, honourable relationships, and that's because you set a standard, and there's nothing wrong with that. You've got to set your boundaries, and you've got to set a standard, and then you go and seek out those experiences as opposed to just anything. And you will have, harmonic relationships. You'll have loving relationships. You'll connect with beings that want to connect with you in a respectful manner. That's available to us. It always has been. We just
Mm-hmm.
probably were navigating from a distorted place.
Yeah. We have another question. We're getting plenty of questions tonight. Avatar Canada, does my struggles with others, seems like everybody in brackets, in relation, advocating on Indigenous issues prevent me from accessing my heart space?
Oh,
Interesting.
absolutely not.
No.
No, nothing can prevent you from accessing your heart space. And, but expressing yourself in a field or in a manner, however that is in the, the world, as long as it's authentic, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Even when it's inauthentic, it's still a part of your journey for you to see certain things, and these are always going to be personal. So no, that's never going to stop you from accessing your heart space. There's nothing that can stop you from accessing your heart space other than yourself.
Right.
And that is to lead you to the path of learning to access it. And like I said, that's between you and your inner being. Sometimes you need to get that tough love going on with your inner being too. And I've said it before, I sit my inner being in the corner. I've done it multiple times and say, hey, we need to get this communication going really, really on another level, because it's not working for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
you have to connect in with yourself to see that your authentic expression, no matter how it is your authentic expression, and that's that. So advocating on particular issues is the path that you are meant to follow, and that's not going to lead you from it's not going to lead you away from accessing your heart space, but you can ask the question as to what is. So if you feel like you're not accessing your heart space, sit with the question. Sit with the question of why. What's the barrier to me accessing my heart space? I just want to say this straight out, though. We innately access this place.
Mm-hmm.
We innately have access to it. So it's not out of your reach. It's there. It's just you hearing it and understanding it and recognizing it, that you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to create. You want to create that connection where you can clearly hear it and clearly know you're in it. So sometimes taking the pressure off and just knowing that you can connect to your heart space, that you are a heart-based being, that helps with knowing that you can access it. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, that was a good response to that. Yeah, nothing should prevent us from accessing these things. There should be nothing in the way, And like I even remember having a conversation with myself, which was basically, when I get a hold of my higher self, I'm going to slap her, for putting me through these things,
Yeah.
So there is nothing that can block us for our ancestral cosmic beings, our inner heart center. Nothing should be interfering with that. Nobody should be interfering with that at all. That to me would be breaking natural law.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they have tried to interfere. They have definitely interfered.
Yeah,
but that's because,
definitely.
and on a level we've consented to that, and that's why it's important to just say you don't consent to anything, to any interference, just to start off with, just to clear that slate, So because we don't know what we have consented and we haven't consented to. So but accessing our heart space is innate to us all. Advocating on certain issues should never be an issue, because if you feel that you need to advocate for them, then that's your authentic expression. The only other thing I would say is that we have to honor sovereignty of beings, and us wanting something and expressing something doesn't make it like we can't override someone else's sovereignty too. So that's part of that learning of our abilities, but also learning the laws of the land as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and also when given information, these are our opinions,
Correct.
like these are individual opinions, and somebody else might have a totally different perspective, and it doesn't mean right, wrong, just means different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I really appreciate you being in the world at this point. So I do, because I'm pretty sure that you are a voice there for people to find,
Yes. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Caroline. I
Yeah.
appreciate everybody too. I appreciate you for doing this show and having it, going on and speaking, trying to navigate the truth. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely.
We can only try, you know?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
We can only try. We can only spread the messages that we have been guided to spread. If they resonate, fine. If they don't, that's okay. There's no one.
Hmm.
I'm not judging anyone. I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm just saying, hey, you're more powerful than what you've been told, and if you want to
Yeah.
explore it, here's some information. It's not everything. It's worked for me. It might work for you.
Hmm. And I even think that we have only just scratched the surface as
Yeah,
far as like being these powerful beings that we are. Like,
yeah,
I think it's really off the charts, and we don't have really any idea just who we are.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely. And that's why they tried to control it. Yeah.
oh yeah, oh, and shut it down. Yeah,
Yep.
but we don't give them energy tonight. We are like spreading love,
Yeah.
and the positive vibes are going out
Yeah.
there. And yeah, but yeah, like there has been things like not to negate anybody's journey here. There has been things that have pulled people off their paths deliberately. And the thing is, regain your power, stand your ground, and nobody has a right to do any of this to any of us. You know, we are star beings.
Yeah, absolutely. We're infinite beings in a human
Mhm.
body, but that doesn't mean it limits you from expressing yourself in an infinite way. Yes, we can't do it right this instant, but that's not saying to limit anybody. If you can, or even if you can't, go try it, right? I'm just
Mhm.
saying that I can't express myself in an unlimited manner right now. But that's okay. We're getting there, and it's all about respecting each other and then letting ourselves express ourselves in whatever way we want. Not
Right.
not trying to interfere in that. And it's an amazing journey if you allow it to be. If you can see it from that perspective, I can say that if you do things to the level that I'm speaking of, and that is, consent, taking back your consent, standing in your power, you'll see your life really change. People won't cross your boundaries. People won't
Mhm.
come to you in a particular energy. That's because you're at a frequency that it doesn't recognize, though. They won't see you, you won't see them. People
Mhm.
fade out of your life. Like, you will only have truly the relationships and the engagements that you are vibrating at. That's how it works. It's nothing new. So step into your power, understand what you want, and only speak the words that you want to see
Mhm.
created around you, right? Don't use words that are going to conflict with the inner sort of work you're doing, because it's just going to undo. That's how powerful you are.
Mhm.
Your word that comes out of your mouth, it will affect your life. It affects your outside reality.
Mhm. Oh yeah, definitely. I know when I'm in a grumpy mood, like everything goes to shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah, because
no, yeah,
yeah, it happens quickly. We manifest
it
very quick. We're
does.
very
Yeah.
powerful, and they don't want you to know it. And at the moment, it's like that's why there's so much misinformation, to keep you misinformed, to keep you confused. Because the moment we step into our power, this entire thing ends, and that's the
Mhm.
last thing anyone wants. Because what the controllers, the beings that can't create and just want to use our power are trying to do is get us to create a reality for them. Get
Mhm.
us to create the synthetic world for them. But when we wake up from this slumber, and we realize it, it's like, oh, everyone's going home, and that's it. Party's over.
Yeah, game up. Yep.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah, I like how you describe that. Like the ones who can't create, like they're actually trying to get us to create a synthetic world for them.
yep,
Yeah, I totally can relate to that. Yep,
yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, no, gigs up. Like gig is
yeah. Kicks up.
definitely up.
That's right.
Yep, yep,
Yeah,
gigs up. Yep. And
yeah,
that is, and I think a lot of them are actually running scared because they know that. They know that the gig is up, and that's why they're not even hiding it anymore. Like the ridiculousness is all right in our faces. There's
yeah.
no disguising it. Like it used to be hidden in plain sight, now it's just plain sight right in your face.
Yeah, and we're starting to see it because we're
We're
also
seeing it.
becoming more aware.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're
Mhm.
becoming more aware. So because there are plenty of people that don't see it still. So it's not, it's not to say that it's that obvious. I mean, it is obvious, but it's only obvious because you now have the awareness for it. And we've been going through this process in a way, in waves for a long time. But more people are sort of in those awakened waves. But again, it's because of your effort. It's because of your ability to see and your awareness that's expanded, that you are seeing it so obvious now. That's what I say. We're going to this point where everybody will know the truth and see the truth. It's a staged sort of, step-by-step event process, and events, I guess, are occurring all the time. And we're going to get to that point where we know the truth, and there's no more lie. Like, someone will say a lie to your face, and everyone's just going to laugh because they'll see right through it completely.
Yeah. I can see that coming. I can see that coming already. Like, in certain places, it's starting to happen. Like, I'm even having that response. Like, when I hear something ridiculous, I just laugh. I can't even hide it anymore. Yeah, it's just
I'm
what?
The same. I watch these Mr. Biden press conferences. I mean, I watch lots of things just for entertainment. For entertainment. That's my pure, not for news, not to see where what the state is at, because that's never going to tell you the state of our reality. That's telling you the state of their projected reality. So I watch it for entertainment. I laugh.
Oh yeah, it's like a comedy show. Like, it's almost like they rounded up all the dumbest people that they could find and put them in positions of power. And it, like, I mean, it has frustrated me. It has triggered me. Like, and I would say that I thought that I was far enough along in my spiritual path that things like that weren't triggering me. But I got a sharp lesson.
Yeah.
The minute that I felt myself entangled in it all again, it was like, oh, here I am, like, getting angry at stuff. Well, the injustices for one thing.
Absolutely.
It's just. We got another question here. Let's see. It says, question regards saying the word want in our discussions. Does this not give us the experience of the wanting of the subject as opposed to the actual receiving of it?
Yeah, that's a good question. They all have been good questions. I probably should have said that. They have been
they
really
are.
Yeah. But it's a state of how much power do you give to the wanting. So recognizing what you want is a required step. Staying in that wanting place is that's a different level. Okay,
Right.
so anything that is deeply driven by yearning, that's exactly what you're going to experience. You're going to constantly experience the yearning of, that's why there are many people that want to leave and they're yearning to get home. And yet this has probably been the longest journey felt, right? So they've probably felt the longest, right? Because of that yearning to go home. That's just one expression of it. So I can understand this is like a multidimensional answer, because you can see it like that, but focus on what you want, recognizing that that's what you want, and understanding that you're a soul being having a human experience, right, that needs to be anchored into the reality of this realm. And that is recognizing that we don't manifest instantaneously what we want. Unfortunately, this is the restrictions of the construct. Obviously, we've imposed them on ourselves, but that's what we're dealing with. So yes and no, there is a state of how much power you give to the want. There's one thing to recognize what you want, and there's another thing to stay in that wanting state.
Yeah.
So recognize what you want so that you can adjust, shift your perspective, expand your awareness so that you can access that. Because even, let's just say you want a better lifestyle, or you want abundance, or you want money, we have to understand that already exists. It's just you recognizing that it's already there. To recognize that you want that is the first step. Then to recognize that it's there is the second step. That it's there in the unified field, and you can access it at any point. So that's a good question, but it is not as simple as just saying, I don't want, don't focus on the wants, because you need to know what you want, you need to know what you don't want, and then you also need to move out of that quickly to recognize that it's there. You just have to understand how to access it.
That was a really good answer you gave that question. Yeah, I think we get stuck, like we want this, we want that, and then we stay in the wanting.
Yes.
And anything that has ever materialized for me, it's been a simple process, It's like, okay, I would like this, and that, and then I let it go.
Yeah, that's right. And
yeah.
then you live in your authentic expression, then you see the cues, because the minute you say you want something, the universe has already conspired to bring it to you. We just have to see that it's there, but because we're not seeing that it's there, we're stuck in this wanting phase. So yes, there's a balance that's required.
Yeah. So, can you believe it? We have flew by 2 hours here. So, Athena, thank you so much for coming on to Navigating the Truth and sharing your perspective. It's really been wonderful. And let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Caroline. It's been wonderful for me too. I'm basically just on YouTube. My channel is Human Witness, and I just have an email provided in that channel. So it's realhumanwitness@gmail.com. At the moment, I'm just sharing information. So I don't offer any services. But please be in touch if you want to just have a chat. I'm not against that. That's why I've got the email there. So thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you. And I hope you will come back. I hope anything that you would like to share, just reach out to me and you can come back anytime. Such a wonderful guest. Yeah, such a wonderful guest. And I'm going to, next week is Christmas, so I won't be here. So Merry Christmas, everybody. And thank you for joining Navigating the Truth. And see you in the new year. Okay, bye. Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to Navigating the Truth, a show that will inspire you to transform the world around you, including your health. For more information on the show, Navigating the Truth, and the host, Caroline Bell Tumblety, as well as services she offers, please visit her website at souliam.org. That's SOULIAM.org.
It's as simple as that.
Navigating the Truth live every Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
I see incredible potential here.
Stop being corrupted by the mainstream media and keep your head.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled feed of lies. Until next week, of course. This is KCOR Las Vegas, home of the Digital Radio Network.